Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Pike Homestead. My name is Adam, and I'm here to talk a bit about what we're going to be doing for our laying chickens for our flock for their outdoor run space. So if you see behind me, we've got some of the paddocks here that are put in for the cattle. I'm right up by the barn. So they're going to be coming out. I'm going to be putting a door in here somewhere, and they'll be able to come out here. But as it is, it's just all open. And as you know from our videos, we've had, some hens go broody out in the field and disappear for weeks at a time, only to come back with a bunch of chicks. And we don't really want that happening too much in the future, or if we do, we want it in a more enclosed space. So we have all this wind fencing here, and while it's not necessarily chicken proof, it is a heck of a good barrier for things like predators or anything like that, with just a little bit of modification. So we'll be putting in some chicken mesh or some hardware cloth or something along the bottom just to keep things, fairly secure. What we've got here, it's actually about a quarter acre of space, which for 300 chickens is a ton. That's something where you can fit a couple thousand chickens if you're going, 4 square feet or so per hen for run space. But as you can see, there's spots here where it's wide open. So, what we've got is we've actually got this huge kind of paddock here with this one fence running down the middle. And so what we want to do is we just want to close up this fence and make it all into one kind of section here, as well as remove some of the gates that are here and some of the fencing as well. And I've got a neighbor who's got a tractor to do some of that to help us with moving some of these big metal fences and stuff. One of the things we do have that's a nice bonus is we've got a bunch of these wind shelter fences. They're actually on mobile metal frames, which if you have a tractor with a lift, you can pick them up and move them. Yeah, we've got these sections of fencing here. You can see some of them back there that are actually on a metal frame, and we can get our neighbor with his tractor. He's offered to help us move them. We just hook them up, he'll lift them, and we'll put them into space to close up gaps in the fence like the one right here behind me. And we'll get this into a completely enclosed kind of chicken run. And but I've got to do some prep work for that because, like I said, there's some older fencing here and stuff that's going to come out, because this we want to have open, for the chickens to get through and us as well. Because once this is all fenced in, a lot of these gates and stuff are going to be gone. I'll be putting in, a person-sized gate in the fencing for us to get through, and we'll be closing up places like this gate back here. So I got to take out that metal gate because, we've got a couple of large 16-foot metal gates here that, my neighbor has offered to buy because he can use them for his cattle operation. So, I'm going to get them taken out and out of the way, as well as clean up especially some of the wire fence here. I can't do anything about the metal fencing, because again, it's just a metal frame that a tractor can pick up and move. I can't pick it up and move it. So when he's here, I'll get him to move that out. But there's a bunch of broken wire fencing here where the wires all flop down and no good and hasn't been maintained. And it's been that way since we moved in. The goats follow us everywhere. There's always a goat. There's always a cat. So anyway, I want to clean up some of that wire and tighten it up for back here past where the fence is going to be, just to keep that section kind of closed in. And I'll take off as much of these gates as I can without, opening up the area for the cows to get out that we've got here right now. So the first thing I need to be working on here is getting this 16-foot long fence taken out. So it's just a big metal fence that you attach to your or gate that you attach to your fencing. It's big metal for stopping cattle, and it's held in place by just a bolt through the fencing pillar with a nut on the end. So I just got to see if I can get that undone and lift it off. So I'm going to work on that, and yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So that came out relatively easily, all things considered. Yeah, definitely was, didn't want to slide out of the holes with the pins there. But as it's got a leveling mechanism, it's got a bolt on either side of the post, and so that allows you to level it out on, especially on places like this where you're on a slant, so your gate will swing freely. So you could set, one pin at a different length than the other, so that the gate itself sits straight. So I was able to use those to kind of just unscrew it and kind of force it out until it was to a point where I could pull it. So that went relatively well. I do have another one that I need to get taken out, but that's up there. If you can see that right there, there's a green gate right there. So that one needs to come out too, but that will also kind of open up the fields here for the cattle to get out. I mean, we do have another gate there, but it's pretty bent, and the calves can definitely get through it. But what I might do is just take it out and kind of prop it against that gate, because if we're not going to be using it, it's not that big of a deal, especially if I can get this wire straightened out here, and then if I need to get through here quickly, I can just climb the metal fence, no problem, once all the kind of tangled wire is out of the way. All right, so I just want to give you kind of a look at what I've got here. So we've got these old metal fences and all this wire that's loose with these wooden stake fences, but the stakes are all loose as heck. So the metal fences behind them, I think, were probably put in rather than repair the wire fence, just because they were here, so they didn't really worry about it. So basically from this point on, all the way down there, I want these fences cleared out. But from this point back here to where Homestead Wife is standing, I still need the wire. So some of it has been kind of put in on the metal poles already. So I was just going to take the rest of it here and anchor it on the pole here to tighten it up. And that should keep, the cows in on this side. I mean, because these fences especially, there's no top rail, they're pretty low. So the cows can get over it, and further down here, it's just a loose mess. So they just put some field fencing against it to kind of shore it up, rather than tighten the wire or whatever, or sort it out. So it's just a big mess all the way over to here. And they used to have the field fence along this fence, but I've tightened it up, and for the most part it's okay. It still gets loose again, so I got a little bit more learning to do on how to tie the wire properly to keep the tension. This top one is great, but down lower where the cows are pushing through, it's getting pretty loose. So there's got to, when my neighbor comes in and we're fixing some fences in one of the other fields, I will get myself a learning on how to do that.